Hola, buenos días. ¿Me oís bien al fondo? Fenomenal. Well, as you might know, we are in the European League of Football, so we're going to do this introduction in English, obviously, because we have people from Europe and overseas, and we have our coaching staff here from the US. So first of all, I want to thank you all for being here, for getting through the application process, and being patient with the selection. I also want to thank all the volunteers that we have here, all the guest coaches, our coaching staff, for flying from the US to be here today. Also, my organization, Madrid Bravos organization, for making possible this first ever combine for the first ever professional football team in Madrid. Okay. So we started with this project back in 2021. We started thinking about the possibility of building the franchise in Madrid. We thought that we have the best talent in Spain, mainly focused and concentrated here in Madrid. So that's why it makes sense for us to be here and building this project here. And when we were talking to the league, they were also thrilled about our project being held here in Madrid. Okay. First of all, also one thing that I forgot to mention, I also want to thank Black Demons for letting us have this event here at his home. We are quite thankful for that. So basically, I just want to give you a description of what is behind our project and what do we want to do. As you know, this has been the third season of the ELF, with breaking records in terms of numbers of attendance, games played that are being played, number of players that are licensed. So we want to increase that amount. We are sure that this year we're going to break more records. We have 17 franchise for next year. Probably by 2026 we will be able to reach 24, and that will be it for the expansion plans that the league has. So being one of those expansion cities where the league wants to start operations, it's an honor, and we hope to do it the best way, so we can give you guys the best experience when playing, the coaches the best experience when training and develop you, and we are able to develop a long-term project that probably will grow in the future. So basically, just to give you a summary of the figures that we've been able to see during this season, we've seen a sold-out championship game in Düsseldorf in September. We've seen that we are already selling tickets for the championship game next season, and we already sold like 30% of the capacity. You know, most of the franchise are breaking records of attendance, so this is quite good because it means that the sport that we love is increasing and growing in Europe, and is one of the most important sports, emerging sports in the continent. So where are we, who we are, and what do we want, and what we're searching for here? So our target would be this first season to build the most competitive team that we can, so we are able to be competitive. As you know, guys, conference were released a couple of days ago, maybe a couple of weeks, and we're going to have a tough one, right? So we're with the current championship, and we know that it's going to be tough. I think with the right team that we have here and with the right athletes, we're going to be very competitive. Okay. So our target would be short term, build the most competitive team that we can. Mid-term, develop the best athletes and national coaches so we can have track and momentum here with other teams, national teams, and keep developing these players. And our vision would be to implement the best program in Europe and the reference for American football in the continent for both athletes and coaches. Here in the organization, just to give you a wide view of it, it's a high-level one. We have, of course, our athletic director, Carlos Sebas, in operations. We have Nacho Pinilla, who is not able, he's not going to be here today on communications. But the most important thing that you need to understand today is we've brought the best staff to make sure that we have the best weapon to develop the best talent that we can find here in Spain in terms of homegrowns or imports, either US or EU, okay, or other countries, of course. So head coach Scherer will be leading the athletic program with our athletic director. We have Mac McWhorter as our assistant head coach and offensive line coach. We have Dave Warner as offensive coordinator. We have Ryan Woodard as defensive coordinator, and Mark as defensive line and special teams coach. Okay, so they will be paying attention to everything that you will be doing today on the field, not only in the morning but also on the workouts that we will do in the afternoon. Okay, so very important thing, as I mentioned, teams to beat this year, pretty important for us. We have the current championship Rainfire in our same conference. We have very tough German teams. We have Paris, who did great last year. We have Mac here, who was training them, and some of the players that we already signed, who were playing there. And then we have our neighbors, Barcelona, who will be willing to kick our asses, basically, as they are already 3 years ahead of us with their project, but we're willing to compete with them, of course. One of the things that I also want to mention is that as we are starting from scratch, this is very important for you guys, okay? This is the values that we want to convey, either in the field or through our organization, okay? Bravery. Basically, we are getting behind of our competitors because we're starting from scratch this year. They've been 3 years ahead of us, so for us it's quite important that we need to face them in the field no matter what, although they might have more experience, okay? Also strength, we need to get over them as much as we can. Fight, because we're gonna have to fight for each yard, each touchdown more than they will do. And last but not least, we want to reach victory, okay? We need all of your individual efforts in order to achieve collective success in the organization, okay? So thank you very much, and I'm gonna pass to Reeb so he can explain to you what he's expecting of today. Thank you very much.
Buenos dias. That's the extent of my Spanish right there. Okay, I'm learning. I'm day 47 of Duolingo, and that's all I got. First of all, I want to thank Jaime and Victoria, his wife, who have put in great effort to put this on. The organization, the detail. I have to hold this. Okay, the organization and the detail of today's operation is amazing to me. I've been doing this season will be my 50th in coaching. So yes, I'm an old fart. I don't have hair, so that's part of it. Guys like you have made me bald, so lost my hair. But I want to thank Carlos, who's done a great job of making sure that we have the best players here in Spain, and throughout Europe and wherever else people came from, for us to evaluate. And we're excited as the Dickens to be here. Sebas and Ricky and Gon and all the guys that have helped, all the volunteers and guest coaches, appreciate you. Thank you to the Black Demons for hosting us and working with us to put this on and to make this. I'm just going to do it. Can you hear me back there? Can you hear me? First of all, I want you to know I take this appointment very seriously. I'm honored and privileged to be standing before you guys to be appointed to be the first head coach here in Madrid in the ELF. And it's a responsibility I take very seriously. It's something that is very important to me and this coaching staff, and something that we're going to work hard with you guys to make this the best team in the ELF. Now, my expectation, unlike what Jaime said, and I respect it, we laugh about this all the time, but when I came over here to talk with Jaime and Carlos in September about this opportunity, they told me, Coach, we'll be patient, we know it's going to take time, and I said, you don't understand coaches and players, because we want to win, and we expect to win, and we expect to compete for the ELF championship this year. You know, that's the only reason you do this. You know, you don't do this to go out there and you don't put all the effort and work and all the time in that you guys do to be the best that you can be to just compete. We expect to compete at the highest level, and we expect to be playing in that championship game this year. And we expect to beat Barcelona, as I'm learning to say, and kick their ass twice, okay? So that's the expectation. Let me introduce the staff in a little bit more detail. And I'm going to ask these guys to come up here, okay? Mac McWhorter is the offensive line coach and assistant head coach. Mac and I started coaching together 43 years ago at Georgia Tech. We've coached together at Georgia Tech and Alabama, and Mac was on my staff when I was the head coach at Memphis. And the best line coach in all of football, and I mean that, and I've said that to everybody. that I've talked to. I've worked in the NFL, I've worked with some great coaches, but the absolute best coach in all of football. Now, when you talk to Mac, he doesn't speak English, he speaks Southern, okay? So, but he's absolutely absolutely outstanding coach. Dave Warner is going to work with the quarterbacks and receivers. Dave and I are going to kind of split the quarterbacks and receivers, and we'll co-share that responsibility as well as offensive coordinator, but Dave is the offensive coordinator, and we'll be involved in play calling, and we're going to work that through that as we get through. And then me, like I said, I'll work with the quarterbacks and receivers as well. Dave has been an offensive coordinator at Michigan State, at University of Houston. He's been at a number of great universities, has had great success. Dave and I worked together at Southern Miss about 15 years ago, Dave? Maybe longer, huh? Then Ray Woodard, our defensive line coach, he's going to handle any discipline problems on our team. You got to meet with him, okay? Now, Dave is an outstanding coach. Great player at the University of Texas. The eyes of Texas are upon us here. Dave was a great player at Texas, played in the NFL for a long time, coached in NFL Europe, been a defensive coordinator, been a head coach at a FCS program in Texas, Lamar, and is going to bring us a great defense. We're going to be an aggressive defense, but we're going to be sound, and we're going to kick some people's butts with our defense. And then Mark Ridgely. Mark is going to coach either the DBs or the D-line. We're working through that depending upon what other coaches we hire to supplement our staff. Ridge has coached in college at the University of Pittsburgh and other schools, and then I was with Coach Ridgely at the LA Chargers. Ridge worked on the offensive side there. He was an assistant O-line coach and then became our running back coach, and an outstanding young coach, and I feel privileged that these four guys all wanted to join in and were anxious about joining in. And again, we take this responsibility very, very seriously. We're going to coach the daylights out of you, but also I want to make sure you understand this. We're going to have fun doing this, okay? We're going to make this a positive. Now, there'll be some days out there you're going to say, "Where's the fun?" You know. When's the fun going to happen in training camp, and some days in practice? You're going to be, especially with probably Ray and Mac, you're going to wonder where in the heck is the fun coming from, especially you offensive linemen and linebackers. I forgot to mention Ray is going to coach the linebackers. But I want to make this a family type experience. I want to build a family here, not just a team, but a family where we work together, we laugh together, we sweat together, we bleed together, but we enjoy one another and we build relationships. We understand that we have to earn your trust, okay? I think too many times coaches believe, hey, when I walk into the room, the players got to trust me because it says coach on my shirt. That's not the way it works, guys. We have to earn your trust. And the way we earn your trust is through interaction with you, communicating, getting to know you, you getting to know us, you getting to know our families, we get to know your families. But we want to build a strong family bond here within the organization, with everybody in the organization. Spanish coaches, U.S. coaches, players, support staff, everybody, we're going to be a big family. And like happens in families, there are sometimes some bad days and people get upset and things happen. But if you really care about one another, you understand that we work through those things. So I just want you to understand what we're trying to build and develop here. Today, in terms of what we're looking for and what I look for in players is, number one, I want people who are passionate about this game, who have a passion for playing football, who have a passion for competing. Because if you don't have a passion for this, you're not going to last very long. And you're not going to be very successful. Because of all games, this is not an easy sport to play. It's not an easy sport to practice. You understand that. You know, it's one thing to go out and hit a baseball or shoot a basketball for a couple hours, and, you know, that can be fun. But to smash into one another, to hit one another, you know, those kinds of things, it's not for everybody. But it's for you guys, and that's why you're here, and that's why we're excited that you're here, because obviously you have a passion for this. We're also evaluating attitude. I want great attitude players. I will take a great attitude player with average ability over a bad attitude player with great ability. Attitude to me helps you be the best you can be. And that's what our goal as a coach, as coaches are. That's what our responsibility is, to help you become the best player you can be. The other thing we're evaluating is your effort and your work ethic. How much effort do you put into this? What is your work ethic day in, day out, drill after drill, consistently? How much effort do you put forth? What is your work ethic? What is your focus in those drills? We're looking for toughness. Okay, you got to be a tough guy to play this game. You got to be a tough-minded person to play this game. It's just not physical toughness. It's mental toughness more than anything. So we're looking for tough-minded guys, guys who can perform under pressure, perform when you're tired, perform when it's late in the game, perform when it's 4th and 1 on the 1-yard line, and you got to get it in. It's the last play of the game. We got to get it in to score, or we got to stop them from scoring. Tough-minded people will get that done, and that's what we're looking for. Looking for intensity. How intense are you? What's your focus? So we're watching that as you guys go from drill to drill, how much you pay attention to the coaches, what kind of detail you execute those responsibilities with. Okay. So that's, again, part of this evaluation process. Ultimately, when we start to put things together, we're looking for execution, okay? We're looking for execution, the ability to play your position to the best of your ability and attention to detail. And then the last thing, to be honest with you, is ability, okay? All those other things are more important. If you have ability, but you don't have those other things, I've seen a lot of those guys get first-round draft picks get cut the second season in because they don't have some of those other qualities. So we're evaluating, and we'll continue to evaluate when we get together back in next April and May in training camp till we finalize what this team looks like, okay? So, what I'm asking you today is, first of all, relax. I know all of you want to impress. You all want to put your best foot forward. You want to do the best you can do. But the most important thing to do in that process is just relax. And relax and then focus. Okay, don't be uptight. You know, you make a mistake, you don't do a drill right, you don't do it perfect, go on to the next drill, forget it. Just like a game. It's just like the game. If you have a bad play, you can't let that affect the next play. If you don't do something as well as you want to do in a drill, or you think you could have, move on, forget about it, and go on to the next drill, okay? So again, those things are important. So I ask you to be focused, relax, give us your best effort. We will be mingling with you during this early process to as you go through all the vitals, is that correct? And the weight, or the height, all the height, weightlifting and all those things out in the field. Then we'll take a break, and then we'll be involved in the drills somewhat. We have some guest coaches that are going to run a lot of the drills. We may step in and help or add to a drill. Then as the day goes on, we'll continue to be involved with you. We want to get to know you. We want to get to know who you are, where you're from, that type of thing, okay? So again, I thank you for making the effort to be here, okay? It says a lot that a lot of you came from, I know some people came from pretty close by here in Madrid. Others came from a little bit further away in Spain, maybe some other countries in Europe. Yeah. But we appreciate your effort. That means a lot. The fact that you're here and made the effort to be here means a lot to us. And we welcome you. It's a privilege for me to be standing in front of you. It's a privilege for us to be able to work for you today. So let's have a great day. Go Bravos. Go Bravos.
Thank you, Coach. For all of you now, although you are all familiar with the test that we're going to do this morning, we're going to just reproduce one video that we have here so everybody understands exactly what are the expectations and what are the standards of each of the exercises. Introduce my wife. Yeah. So for all of you, this is Victoria. She's part of the franchise apart from my wife, as Coach Ray needs me to mention, of course. So she's leading with Sebas all the operations part. So everything that if you have any doubt, anything, just apart from volunteers, you can go to either Sebas or Victoria. Okay, now pay attention to the video.
Let me just add real quick, she's the real boss of this organization, okay? Just so you'll understand.
Clear. So before we start, make sure that you find your group, so we can start with grouping the different players in the group, so we can start with the technical stations. Thank you very much, guys.